Today I'm going to talk about food and how when I moved to Poland, I discovered that Poles eat things that I'm pretty sure are Jewish. And as a Jew growing up, I would eat things that I assumed were Jewish, but they're actually Polish. My name is Michael, and I'm a Jew from Canada who now lives in Poland. And this is where I talk about my experience as a Jew living in Poland and more. Before going forward, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with my content. One of the things that really surprised me when I first moved to Poland was that you can get a chałka in every bakery in Poland. This completely blew my mind. Chałka, as a lot of people probably know in Poland, is something that Jews eat only on Friday night for Shabbat. We call it challah. So obviously, chałka comes from the word challah. You can get a better challah in Poland than you can maybe anywhere else in the world. In America or in Canada, if you want to get challah, you have to go to a Jewish bakery. A normal bakery never sells chalka, but in Poland, you can get a challah in every bakery. And although there are really not many Jews left, everyone in Poland eats chalka. Now, growing up, I learned to love herring or schledge. I would eat it all the time. And I just sort of assumed that it was a normal Jewish thing. When I'd go to my Baba's house, she would always serve us schledge, herring, and brown bread. And then when I started coming to Poland, I realized that it's a Polish thing or a Slavic thing. Everyone here eats schledge. In the supermarket, you can buy it. It's as common as kielbasa or kabanos. Matzah. Matzah is a very Jewish food, and it's a food that Jews only eat on Pesach or Passover. Passover is one of the most important Jewish holidays. It usually happens around May, and during Passover, Jews don't eat bread. We only eat matzah as a tribute to the fact that the Jews, after they left Egypt, spent 40 years in the desert and they didn't have yeast to help the bread rise. And so the bread that they would eat was this flat bread called matzah. That was all that they could prepare. So for the 10 days of Passover, we don't eat leavened bread just like those Jews in the desert. And I gotta be honest, we don't love eating matzah. It constipates you. And after 9, 10 days of eating it, you don't want to eat it anymore for the rest of the year. So you can imagine my surprise when I came to Poland and in the cracker section, I see that Polish people eat matzah as crackers. I couldn't believe it. At first, before I could really understand the pronunciation of Polish, I just thought it was something called maca. But then once I learned that a C was a ts, I realized that there was matzah being sold as a cracker. Jews would never eat matzah just casually as a cracker, but in Poland, somehow matzah stuck around and became a cracker. I have no idea how that happened. I find it very strange and very cool. Once I decided to buy a box of matzah to see if it was any different than the matzah that we eat during Passover, and oh, it's basically the exact same dry cracker, kind of gross. I have no idea why Polish people eat it as a cracker, but power to you. Enjoy. Just don't eat too much because take it from me, you're going to have a hard time pooping. Placki ziemniaczane, or as we call it, latkes, or potato pancakes. Now, this is debatable. I've actually done some research on this, and no one really knows exactly what the etymology of the potato pancake is. I grew up believing that the potato pancake was a Jewish food. We call them latkes, and again, we eat them only once a year on a holiday called Hanukkah. It's a holiday that we celebrate in honor of the Jewish soldiers were trapped inside the temple and they found oil, and the oil was only enough for one night. But in order to survive, they needed oil for 8 nights. And the oil miraculously lasted for 8 nights. It kept the Jews safe with light, and they were able to survive. And we call it the Festival of Lights. It lasts over 8 days. And we eat potato pancakes because we fry them in oil. And they're delicious. But we only eat them on Hanukkah for some reason. People eat potato latkes all the time. Here, of course, they're called platski ziemniaczane, which just means potato pancakes. It's funny, when Jews come to Poland and they see that they can get potato pancakes, even though it's not Hanukkah, they get really excited because unlike matzah, potato pancakes are actually something we really look forward to eating. But for some reason, we don't cook them outside of Hanukkah, which doesn't really make sense to me. I think the Polish way makes a lot more sense. But the question is, what came first, the Jew or the Pole? Do Polish people eat potato pancakes because Jews ate potato pancakes? Or do Jews eat potato pancakes because Poles ate potato pancakes? One place I read that they actually came from Italians. I don't really know what's true or what's not. But what I do know is that coming to Poland completely confused me in relationship to my beloved potato pancakes. And then there's some other weird things that once I came to Poland, I was told was Jewish food, but I'd never eaten it before, and we don't eat it anymore. Like gęsi pipek? I think that means goose dicks? I don't know. Apparently, this is something that Jews eat. I know it's not actual penises, but that's just the name. Maybe it doesn't mean penises. I don't know. You tell me. Apparently, it's a Jewish food, but we never ate this growing up. And I don't really know people who ate it. So somewhere it got lost on the boat on the way from Poland to North America. Or maybe there are people who still eat it, but we never did growing up. Those are some examples. I'm sure that there's more. Maybe you know some things that I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. When I came to Poland, it was wild because people in Poland eat the foods that I ate growing up. Whether they're Polish or Jewish first probably doesn't actually matter. I think it's cool that there's this weird, interesting cultural confusion. But what I ultimately love about it is that it makes me feel more at home because the food that I eat in Poland is the same food that I grew up eating in Canada.